Hey there, VC. Mick back, this time with October Manifests. And let's start from Australia, where we often do. Here we have the Hard-Ons with the reissue of their classic 7-inch in the 12-inch format called Surfin' on My Face. The Hard-Ons are a premium Australian punk band that have been going since the mid-80s. This is on the Vinyl Records label, and this contains the original 7-inch done as a 45 on the 12-inch format, so sound quality has been remastered and enhanced and comes with some demos and hard to find compilation tracks on the B-side. Classic bit of Australian punk. Love the Sonics t-shirt there. We stay on the Australian front, this time with Bud. And if nobody knows who Bud is, they actually released a double 10-inch on Thurston Moore's Static Peace label. I went to sleep on them a bit, but what I do know is this is prime stooge rock and roll. It's psychedelic stooges, it's grungy. They sort of started off as a local version of Mudhoney, but they've grown, with this they grew into something so much more. Only 4 tracks on the EP called Avit, but certainly inventive rock and roll, if that's your go. And here we have another Brisbane band, and I do have their live video up on the channel there. This is called the Double Happiness. They're a male-female combination, and they sort of are a combination of indie pop and Ennio Morricone and shoegaze. This one's called Space Time. Beautifully screen printed cover by Number 7 Springhouse. And for all the go-betweens fanatics, there we have Adele Pickvance, who played on the later Go-Betweens albums. The lead singer here, Kristen, she has a fantastic show on 4ZZZ called Heyday, so that's available to stream worldwide if anybody's interested. This time we move to Melbourne, and this one here is the Bleak Squad. Now, some people may recognise some of the members there, most notably Mick Harvey from The Birthday Party. Also on this is Adelita from Magic Dirt. Dark pop, dark alternative pop. Could be Roland S. Howard, those kind of spidery guitar lines, which seem to be trademark from early period Bad Seeds. Once again, something new for the Australian scene, and comes in a red shade vinyl. Okay, so let's leave Australia now and let's move a little bit more European, and let's start here with Labarque. And this is their album from this year, and it's called Almont. And for those who know Labarque, they're sort of industrial-based band, based out of Eastern Europe. You have a booklet that comes here with some stories around the concept of this album and tracing some of the music's origins. It's definitely a sophisticated work, talking about, well, power, manipulation, religion, and a bit of political intrigue, as compelling as it is fresh. On Mute Records, and Mute always a label to watch out for. And there we go. See You in Hell. It doesn't sound too positive, does it? It's actually a great record. It's on two vinyl albums, and they're the covers there. Alamat, I guess you would say that word is. Okay. Now I punk it up, but it's audiophile punk. And here we have the New York Dolls from MoFi. 2x45, not my favourite format, but I do love this album. It's an all-time favourite. It's a cornerstone of my collection, so I definitely needed to get it in the MoFi format. Certainly the cleanest this album has ever sounded, according to me anyway. And even though I vowed I'd never buy records that I already owned, how could I go past such a great double by the New York Dolls? If you've got the album and you love it, definitely worth having. Nothing too special here from MoFi on the labels. They stick with their own brand, but they do give us a little bit of pink, so nice to see. Okay, next up we have a box set, and this one's from Exmoor Deutschland, and the classic Gothic 12-inch Incubus Succubus is included on this. Now, they also have their first album Fetish, their second album Toxin, and another 4AD 12-inch called Qual. But for the box set, and this is pretty interesting, even if you own the original albums, they have packaged them in a congruent box set style. There's a big X there if people can see it embossed. Certainly keeping with the theme of the box set. I do like that. I do own the Toxin album, so one of the key initiatives that got me across the line for this was the change in covers, and you also have some fantastic inners on all of them. And of course we have some red vinyl there, and on the always great 4AD label. Hard to say no to that. Like all box sets, it comes with a booklet, and the booklet traces the journey of this classic German band, one of my favourite German bands of all time, from a time when I was, well, don't know if I was ever Gothic, but Gothic influenced. Okay, let's move over to Seattle, and we have Six Finger Satellite here, and this is from the mid-90s, and it's on the Sub Pop label, and we get two records here. We get Severe Exposure, which was an album, and Machine Cuisine, which was a 12-inch. So there we go. I only ever owned these on CD in the day. Come on clear vinyl with your standard Sub Pop logo there. And there's Machine Cuisine. Doctors are working hard there. And also included is an insert. Not a great deal of information, unfortunately, because that's one of the great things about these kind of sets. If there's a lot of information, you get to embrace the band's narrative, just for a day anyway. But I guess technically it's a box set. I sort of saw it as a deluxe reissue, but definitely a box set now. I think about it a little bit more. Six Finger Satellite, if you like your mid-90s US indie, a bit of a must get. Okay, let's try to move forward to the current time now. And here we have Big Thief. Everyone on the VC has been sharing this album, and why not? It's so good. It's definitely folk country influenced, but certainly has enough difference in it to leave that genre, probably more indie, but I hear it a bit hazier than that. Things I always struggle with, and this is a classic case of it, where the album title and the band's name is incorporated on the hype sticker. I kind of have to leave it on there, don't I? Because it's sort of not integral to the artwork, but certainly plays a part in it. There's the inner sleeve there, and we have it on green vinyl, so dark green. So nice to have that one there. We might go a little bit experimental now, and this is by the band Nursed with Wound, and this album is called Backside. And the key with this reissue includes fragments of Bladder Flask, which was a 1980 release. This is a reissue of an earlier album. There's the inner there. So for all your dark, neo-gothic soundtrack, ambient but creepy dark soundtrack, certainly recommend Nurse with Wound. This is a fantastic package, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, let's go with a bit of reggae. And Tapazuki in dub. Now, this is not the first time this has been reissued, this album, but I do believe this is the best version of it. So I did have another version of it, and I'm like, do I need to get this? And I heard it played in the store, and it absolutely boomed, which meant, yep, I needed this version because to replace the thinly veiled version I had. Heavy dub, Robbie Shakespeare and Sly Dunbar handle the bass and drums, so hard to go past either of those. This was from 1976 and was on a small label. It's sort of a bit of a spacey reverb that's really takes advantage of the studio situation. So this has the complete original track list, so hard to find in its original form. Okay, over to the UK, this time for the Sundays. And here we are with their album Blind on a 2LP gold nugget vinyl. Comes with a fantastic insert. I was a major fan of their first album, Reading, Writing and Arithmetic, back in the day, and certainly welcome all these albums coming through on vinyl. Here we are, it's on a nice gold coloured vinyl with custom labels. There we go, which always makes that a little bit more interesting. Okay, let's hit the jazz bend. Key release. I just talked about Nurse with Wound, and this one's on the Nurse with Wound list. This one here is from 1970, and the band's name is Min Bull. And what we have here is free funk avant-garde jazz. Yeah, it's that kind of deepness. A key name on this is Terje Reitel, who people would know from the ECM label. And there's Terje there playing his guitar. This is on the Nurse with Wound list, so definitely worth a recommendation and a bit of a fun jazz reissue from 2025. Now I'm always up for new jazz as well in 2025, and here we have is the, I'll just take the cover off there, is the Fred Hirsch, Drew Gress and Joey Barron release on, you guessed it, we just talked about them, ECM. Once again, definitely on the freer side of jazz, but probably more aligned to modal with a little bit of hard bop. They do Ornette Coleman's Law Years, and they do also do a George and Ira Gershwin track, so you can see it's quite varied. So out but not too out on the ECM label, and there we are. That's what ECM looks like these days. Another great year from ECM. Definitely one of the current now jazz labels in the world, along with International Anthem. Okay, we're tripping back over to the UK, and this time for something quite epic. And one of the reasons I like the Divine Comedy is not only are they literate pop, but their albums certainly define the nature of cabaret and certainly the chamber pop that I do enjoy. And I find myself attracted to these albums. In fact, last year I did a top 10 of my favourite chamber pop albums. Sophisticated pop, literate lyrics. I think I've got every Divine Comedy album. That one's on a dark green, and Rainy Sunny Afternoon on the label. if you've been tuned in to Divine Comedy before, certainly the trip continues. Rainy Sunday afternoon. Okay, the next one's a huge one, and particularly for electronic music fans. And we have the always great Richard James, and it is Polygon Window. Now, this was released on Warp Records, and certainly for 1992, this was the future of electronica. Richard James stars on this, and originals in good condition probably go for the mid 500s. So to get a good copy, if you like artificial intelligence era Warp, this is one of the key releases, and so far my pick for one of the top releases of 2025. So that's Polygon Window. Okay, now I do like a little bit of, well, I call it old country, and here's a name that people will know. It's Chris Ekman. This one's on Glitterhouse, The Land We Know the Best. Probably more coming from a folk perspective. Interesting comment on the cover. Here, weather is landscape, and landscape is memory. And this is all from deepest, darkest Europe. Here we are on the always recommended Glitterhouse Records. And then we have a nice custom inner. So good. Now, the next one, I guess everyone's got, but the reason why everyone's got it is because it's so great. And it's really hard to go past this. So if you're interested in Pink Floyd, and I am in particularly up to 1975, everyone else is certainly showing this in the VC, and with good reason. This could have been released this year. It's that modern. If you like space rock, of course these guys are the gods of it, but this finds them in a bit more of an out there setting. And it's also just a fantastic package. It's a double album. You get some inners. There's their massive rig. How cool is that, huh? Get a massive poster. I will take this out just so everyone sees the package. This really is the art of vinyl. There we go. Live in Pompeii. Where else could they not be? And I'll just show the other end, because this is just a beautiful package, and certainly the art of vinyl. Now, the only reason it took me a while to buy this was I had to wait. I didn't have to wait, but I waited till it was on a sort of reduced rate on Amazon, and certainly paid for a little bit on the basis that it didn't come in a outer box. And anyway, it's made it from overseas in reasonable shape, so it was probably half the price the shops were selling it here for in Australia. So certainly Pink Floyd at Pompeii made its way to Europe from me, but at a reduced price. So sometimes living in the land of Oz and down under, in a fantastic country, but you're away from the rest of the world, so sometimes you pay the price in little ways. Okay, and finally, Wednesday, an album that is certainly moving away from their alt country roots. They're still there, but I get a little bit of shoegaze in this one, and a little bit of British 90s pop. Of course, the band features the same folk that have been playing for quite a while, and you know, Kathy Hartman's songwriting here anchors everything. Certainly with the dreamlike sound. Comes with a fantastic booklet. Just talk you through that. And certainly one of those bands that has become one to check out, and their Rat Soul God album from last year was exceptional. And of course, Mark Jacob Lenderman is on this album. Love that cover. Okay, thanks everyone. That is